United States tax code is over 67,000 pages long, more than 9 times the length of the Bible. It has 5.6 million words, and Americans, you and I, spend 5.4 billion hours trying to comply with this every single year. Try bucking that system and see what happens to you. They're cashing in on the guilt. Just the other day, someone told me that they have a lawyer friend in Washington, D.C. who said the IRS has hired 3 times more auditors than were under the Bush administration. And not only that, these auditors are being trained specifically to target small business owners in America. Do you know why? Because small business owners often can't afford lawyers or accountants to help them fight the IRS. They are cashing in on the guilt. Obama is going to spend millions of dollars in this nationalized health care program and make it more difficult for you or I to make unhealthy lifestyle choices. My producer Aaron ate 6,000 calories worth of corn dog pizza a couple of weeks ago, and he got his man card back. And that's going to be against the law pretty soon. They are cashing in on the guilt. San Francisco just announced that they're going to assess a $100 tax on anybody who doesn't properly separate their trash. And in a couple of years, composting will be mandatory. Now people who miss the trash can are going to be common criminals. Folks, they're cashing in on the guilt. They're getting us going and coming. Mayor Jim Newberry in Lexington snuck into the budget a couple of years ago a $100 alternative minimum tax, get this, on businesses that don't make a profit. Now it's illegal to be in business and not make a profit. They are cashing in on the guilt. And then there's cap and slave. This program assumes that we're all criminals from the beginning and charges us for carbon credits. Like indulgences in the medieval church, they are cashing in on the guilt. We're watching our economic freedoms disappear right before our very eyes. And here's the thing. Those we've elected to serve us have chosen to serve themselves. And so we must act. I said a couple of weeks ago that if Senator Mitch McConnell is not going to stand up for us, then get out of the way. We'll stand up for ourselves. If Senator Jim Bunning's not going to stand up for us, it doesn't matter. If you aren't going to stand up for us, we'll vote for somebody else. Liberty is not an inanimate object. It's a living, breathing spirit. It's the spirit of America. Like a tree, it has to be cultivated and cared for with the careful vigilance and attention of the American people. Every generation will have its chance to preserve liberty for the next. And our time has come. Our time has come. And so we stand here. The great privilege of self-governance is that the people not only have the liberty to do as they please within the bounds of the law, but that those same citizens should necessarily feel on their shoulders the weight of responsibility for the preservation of that freedom. Folks, we're not just here to be mad about taxes. It's our responsibility to be here today. We're supposed to be here today. We're Americans. We can't be lazy about this. Our freedoms will be taken away from us if we stand idly by. Are you with me today to stand up for your freedoms? Are we done with this? So here's the thing. I'm taking with me to the governor a list of things that I want to see happen. I read a column by Stephen Hayward in the National Review the other day. This is my other talent, swatting at flies. Ronald Reagan had a dream that never fully came true, and it was an economic Bill of Rights for America. Have you guys heard of the Economic Bill of Rights? And Stephen Hayward was saying, you know, the political climate in America right now may not accept the Economic Bill of Rights on a congressional level, but if we do this on a state level, and I'm getting off the notes here because this is so important to me. Politics, people, are local. They are so local. You know, Barack Obama was a community organizer on the south side of Chicago 8 years ago. Today he is President of the United States. He was promoted through the ranks all the way to the top. We can do the same thing. It starts with us. And so if we can't get our congressman to vote on the Economic Bill of Rights, then we'll do it for them, and we'll start right here in Frankfort, Kentucky. So I'm taking with me to the governor's office the Commonwealth Economic Bill of Rights, and I'm asking him to pass it. Here's what it is. It's a constitutional amendment that will require a balanced budget be enacted every single year with a limit on the bonding, the borrowing of money of 3% of that budget, and only in an emergency situation that would require 2/3 of both chambers voting to pass it. The second amendment would be a constitutional amendment limiting government spending and tying that spending to the amount of revenue they collect from us. The third amendment would be a constitutional amendment granting a budgetary line item veto to the discretion of the governor, which we have, and we're going to add to this. The fourth is a constitutional amendment, and this is a very important one, requiring a 2/3 vote of both chambers of the state legislature to raise any taxes or fees. The fifth is a constitutional amendment prohibiting wage and price controls. And the sixth one is very, very important. And I want to hear your reaction loud and clear on this one. It's a constitutional amendment reaffirming the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. We are a sovereign state. Do not tread on us. So we can't just say no, we have to say yes. We have to say we're not just the people out here complaining. We've got a plan. You know, I'm a talk show host, so I'm always right. So we have to have a plan. If we're right, if we believe in what we say, let's do it. Let's do it. So let's say it, let's tell them, and it's never going to happen unless we go up and tell them. So on Tuesday, this is what we're taking to the governor, along with 16,000 tea bags that you guys have brought us. And it's phenomenal. So with that, these are my notes, and here's what I want to do. I really just want to take questions and talk. I'm a direct to the point guy. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm in a liberal focus group or something, but no, it matters. And let me start with this. I'll just throw the first one out there. Self? I'm asking myself a question. Why go to these tea parties? How many of you guys have been to one before? Raise your hand. Everybody. With the first tea party that you went to, hey guys, how you doing? The first tea party that you went to, how many of you that was the first protest you'd ever been to in your life? I mean, I'm serious. If I'd called my mom and said, hey, you've been at these protests, she would have never believed it. Tea parties are like church. We can't get tired of this. The Bible says, forsake not the gathering of yourselves together. And let me tell you, there's a couple of effects when we come together like this that are really, really important. Number one, how many of you guys went to the Glenn Beck Common Sense Comedy Tour that we did for WLAP? A few of you here. How awesome was that?
Awesome.
How many of you walked out of there and said, geez, I'm not alone after all? See, when I come to these tea parties, really what I do, the reason I go is to recharge. Because I sit in this little room and I can't see any of you people, and sometimes when I get the hate mail and stuff, you know, I'm like, maybe nobody likes me. But when I come out here and I find people that I actually agree with, I'm encouraged. I'm not afraid. You know, it's kind of a scary thing to walk into the governor's office and say, here's how you ought to run state. But I know I got all you people behind me. So tea parties are like church. The Bible says, forsake not the gathering of yourselves together. When we all leave here, here's the thing. This will be done.